brings you The Stone Zone with legendary Republican strategist and political icon and pundit Roger Stone. Stone has served as a senior campaign aide to 3 Republican presidents. He is a New York Times best-selling author and a longtime friend and advisor of President Donald Trump. As an outspoken libertarian, Stone has appeared on thousands of broadcasts, spoken at countless venues, and lectured before the prestigious Oxford Political Union and the Cambridge Union Society. Due to his 4+ decades in the political and cultural arena, Stone has become a pop culture icon. And now, here's your host, Roger Stone.
Welcome, I'm Roger Stone. It is a rainy day here in South Florida. That's why I'm wearing my Roger Stone Did Nothing Wrong t-shirt. And some of the most shocking news that I have seen in terms of future election interference is a power grab by the Biden administration through the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, to grab control of the internet. For the first time in the 40-year history of the internet, the federal government is seeking to control content and to do so in the name of equity. Let me explain this. Since they have lost their grip and they no longer have a monopoly on political discourse within the social media communities, that's because of the valiant and brave actions of Elon Musk, who has not only to some great extent ended censorship on Twitter, now known as X, but also very forthrightly published the records of the intelligence agencies and the federal government's pressures and manipulations, not that they needed much pressure, to censor patriots on the internet prior to the election. You all recall the way the information regarding Hunter Biden's laptop was suppressed on that website, as well as Facebook, suppressed by Google, suppressed on Instagram, suppressed essentially everywhere. Well, the deep state is losing their grip, so now what they seek to do is censor at a higher level. This is the most dangerous development I've seen in terms of the chances of a free, fair, honest, and transparent, non-manipulated election. Now, many conservatives say that these new regulations, which have already been approved, I believe, earlier this year by the Federal Election Commission, will surely be challenged in court, and that surely the Supreme Court, which has in the past supported net neutrality, will overturn them. These are the same people who say that they're not worried about the epic tsunami of lawfare against Donald Trump, and that surely the Supreme Court will step in either in the D.C. case or in the South Florida documents case, or in one of the most outrageous cases of them all, the Fulton County case, or perhaps even ultimately in the cases here in New York, or that the Supreme Court will ultimately step in if Donald Trump is, as I expect, illegitimately barred from the ballot in Colorado, a decision that should come next week. Now, so far the Supreme Court has disappointed. 21 individual attorney generals asked them to intervene in the last election regarding the status of mail-in ballots and other irregularities, and that did not happen. It's extraordinarily rare that 21 state attorney generals petition the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court choose not to hear their complaints. So I still find this to be extraordinarily dangerous information. We are going to keep you posted on it. The status of the Republican Party is, of course, of great interest to me. We actually saw former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who I still think is a dangerous presence, a compromiser, an appeaser, a running dog for the Uniparty, having a lot of influence in the caucus. I was happy to see Speaker Mike Johnson, who initially, when he was just a House member, said there was sufficient evidence for the articles of impeachment to be voted for Joe Biden. Then there was some information in which he said that he did not think that there was sufficient evidence. Now he's put out a bold statement saying that there is. It's time to get on with it. In the meantime, I think Kevin McCarthy continues to be a malignant influence on the caucus. Joining us now, I hope, is David Giglio. I first saw him on Laura Loomer's terrific show, Loomer Unleashed, and I had to invite him here to talk about his challenge to Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, Roger, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and you hit the nail on the head. You know, taking Kevin McCarthy's gavel away isn't enough. He is absolutely a malignant presence on the Republican Party, and he's working against President Trump. I mean, he's been working against President Trump his whole career, despite what he portrays publicly. I know about Kevin privately, so yeah, we got to get rid of him.
You know, his great strength, as you know, was as a fundraiser. He knew how to manipulate the special interests for literally billions of dollars. But he used that money in Republican primaries to block strong America First candidates like J.R. Majewski in Ohio, like Mike Crispy in New Jersey, like Laura Loomer in Florida. Instead of boosting candidates who were committed to President Trump and the America First agenda, he used his enormous financial resources to block those candidates, far more interested in whether a member would vote for Kevin McCarthy than whether a member would support the America First agenda. I have to believe that he's a prodigious fundraiser in terms of his own behalf, and California has this unique jungle primary system in which you don't have Republican and Democrat party primaries to select your nominee. Everyone runs in one primary, and then the two top vote getters face off. David, tell us how that works in your case.
Well, yeah. So California has this jungle primary system, and it was implemented. Actually, you know, Schwarzenegger is the one who signed this, but it's really benefit to the Democrats. The Democrats kind of felt in a lot of districts they can get two Democrats at the top of the ticket. But you're exactly right with what Kevin McCarthy did. He actually did it against me. I ran in the 13th district last time, and Kevin McCarthy funded. He wasn't sure I would vote for him for speaker. He's probably right on that. He was right on that. But he funded a man now who's in there and who's been one of the worst Republican freshmen, I think, of all time. He's voted for open borders and amnesty. But yeah, so in California, we don't have the traditional GOP Democratic primaries. It's a jungle primary. Whoever gets the top two votes, you advance to the general. So it could be two Democrats, it could be two Republicans, it could be a mix. It's really interesting. It's kind of frustrating at times, but it makes a lot for Kevin to be able to play. But Kevin doesn't actually believe in anything. And you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people were complaining when Kevin got ousted rightfully from the speakership about all this money he raises. Every dollar that Kevin takes in comes with strings attached. All you have to do is look at Kevin's donors. He's getting that money not to advance President Trump's America First agenda, but to stop it. They're giving it to him so he goes into primaries and he sabotages candidates like J.R. Majewski, Laura Loomer, and Joe Kent. That's what that money's for. So I look at the top dollar that Kevin brings in, and it doesn't impress me because I know what it's being used for.
Yeah, it is. He is a master of optics. I will give him credit for that. So at just the right time, he puts out a statement that he's going to open an impeachment inquiry, not vote articles of impeachment. It took Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats approximately 5 days to fabricate charges twice against President Donald Trump when there was no high crime or any misdemeanor that merited impeachment. But again, it was all shadow boxing. It was an inquiry. An inquiry is not moving articles of impeachment. What do you make of this altercation? I guess that's the only thing you can call it, where it appears that he physically attacked Tim Burnett, a member of the caucus. I mean, is this guy out of control?
kidney guards on right now, so in case Kevin tries to come in this video. But so it goes with who Kevin is. Listen, Kevin has been a man consumed with power. Kevin has wanted the gavel his entire life, and he, quite frankly, he was willing to say and do and promise anything to get the gavel. And for him to be deposed as speaker, the shortest serving speaker in history by members of his own party, he's got to be, his world is coming crushing down. And same for the California Republican Party. He had craved this control, and he owed his power to President Trump. I mean, Kevin is a man who tried to become speaker in 2016, but he was rejected by the Republican caucus, and everything he owes is to President Trump. And so, yeah, I mean, he's out of control. He's lost it. He's probably a broken man. But this was everything. There were delusions around here amongst the California Republican Party that Kevin was going to be a presidential candidate one day. And so we have dodged a bullet. That getting rid of Kevin McCarthy as speaker was just the start. Now we have to get rid of him from Congress because his influence is so powerful. He has been collecting money for a long time, and he is using it to create his version of the Republican Party, not to help President Trump and not to do the things he says he do, starting with the impeachment of Biden. He was never going to impeach Joe Biden. He was going to drag it out until 2024 and then use the excuse that it's too close to a presidential election and we can't do it.
Well, fortunately, his master plan was defeated because once it was clear that he could not hang on as speaker, he really tried to insert his right-hand man, Tom Emmers, who is to the left of most Republicans in that seat. Fortunately, people like me, people like Laura Loomer, and others warned the alarm about who Emmers really was. Emmers, knowing of President Trump's weakness for flattery, tried to flim-flam the former president into believing that he was a great supporter and great Trump Republican. Fortunately, the president completely and totally saw through that without a strong definitive statement. So Kevin's, that was kind of his third power grab. When it appeared that the House Republicans were stalled, I think he tried to make a comeback as a candidate himself. Once it became clear that wouldn't work, he tried to foist Emmers, who's one of the most obnoxious members of the caucus, on us. And of course, fortunately, that failed. Look, I'm a great believer in providence. I'm a great believer in divine intervention. Mike Johnson is by no means perfect. No one is perfect. Only he is perfect. But based on what I've seen so far, and I have some disagreements, I generally think that we have dodged a bullet and we have at the right time selected the right man. Tell me your view of Speaker Johnson so far.
No, I absolutely agree. Listen, Kevin created a mess by not delivering on his promises, by not passing single subject appropriation bills like it was one of his deals. He dragged it on. And so he put Mike Johnson in a difficult spot. But you're exactly right. I mean, Mike Johnson, I think, is the right man right now. Nobody's perfect. But he's talking the talk and he's walking the walk. I mean, he got rid of Kevin's. He's already gotten rid of some of the most troublesome members of Kevin's little minion crew. Kevin, very tied to Sequoia Capital. Kevin squashed the investigation to that. Sequoia Capital is a Chinese CCP-linked firm. They get all their backing basically from the Chinese Communist Party. And Kevin, they're one of Kevin's biggest donors. And he shut down the investigation when he became speaker. And Mike Johnson has relieved the person responsible for that of his duties. And Tom Emmer is Kevin's bulldog. He was the one who carried out the vision to go out and take out those America First candidates. And so Mike Johnson is a guy who believes in the Constitution and is going to restore it. And faith is very important. I grew up Catholic. I've gone to Catholic school my whole life. Faith drives me every day. And we need more people like that in government that aren't just motivated by personal gain and ambition and desire for power. Because that's what Kevin is. Kevin lives for power. And that's why you see him lashing out now. It's been taken away from him. And he can't handle it. And so, Mike Johnson, he's doing what he's got to do right now. And I think he's going to prove to be much more better of a man than Kevin McCarthy and leader than Kevin McCarthy ever was, and an ally for President Trump. Because I don't know if you know, but me and Laura Loomer helped expose. I mean, Kevin McCarthy's been helping raise money for Donald Trump's opponents for the last 2 years, for the last 2 years. He has no intention. That's why he won't endorse Donald Trump, because he doesn't want Donald Trump there. He wanted to be more powerful than Trump, and now he's not more powerful than anybody except, maybe Frank Luntz.
Yeah, the whole Frank Luntz thing is a mystery to me. I, of course, know Frank Luntz. I've known him for many years. When he was 18 years old, he wanted to be a Reagan delegate from Connecticut. He played footsies with the Bush people as well, of course. But as soon as Reagan won half of the Connecticut delegates, Frank wanted to be a delegate. And unfortunately, I had to use the delegate seats in my strategy to tie up key constituencies within the Republican Party. The old establishment WASP party, the Country Club Connecticut Republican Party, firmly behind George Bush. George Bush was, of course, although born in Milton, Massachusetts, he grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut. His father, Prescott Bush, was a U.S. senator from Connecticut. He was also a partner at Brown Brothers Harriman, where he made the Bush family fortune as Adolf Hitler's personal banker. Yes, you heard me right. Prescott Bush and the Union Bank financed the armament of the Third Reich. Prescott Bush ran for the Senate in 1950. He was favored to win. He lost that contest when, at the last minute, Drew Pearson, the most powerful columnist of the day, exposed Prescott Bush and his wife for being major donors to Planned Parenthood. This did not play in an overwhelmingly Catholic state. Most people, particularly in the 50s, understood that Planned Parenthood was just a cleaned up version of eugenics, and he lost narrowly. Then the senator he defeated, Brian McMahon, unfortunately died, creating a special election for that seat, and Prescott Bush was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1952. So the Bushes had a lot of political real estate in Connecticut. I, in the end, put together a campaign in 1980 in which we carried 3 of the 6 congressional districts, which was a shock to the Bushes. And we held our own among the at-large delegates, and I think Connecticut broke down 16 for Bush, 15 for Reagan. Frank actually, sadly, was reduced to tears when I told him that he could not be a delegate to the 1980 convention. I'm not a great fan of his polling. Most of the Republican professionals that I do respect, Tony Fabrizio, probably the #1 pollster in the country, now working for one of the pro-Trump PACs, John and Jim McLaughlin, other contemporaries of mine, working directly for the Trump for President Committee. I don't know anyone who methodologically has a high regard for Frank's polling, but the National Republican Congressional Committee, under the control of Kevin McCarthy, indirectly, has literally paid Frank tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for polling. Look, I think Kevin McCarthy's straight, but I keep hearing that they're roommates in D.C. And let's face it, that has to be the single worst toupee I've ever seen. I mean, it actually looks like Frank Luntz has a Danish stapled on his head. And his clothing is embarrassing.
Well,
You would think, given all the money he's made off the party, he could get a better rug and a better. David Giglio, sit right there. We're going to be back to talk about your campaign, try to raise you some money, and talk about the issues. I'm Roger Stone. This is the Stone Zone, and we will be right back.
My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to get in here and interrupt this great show by my great friend Roger Stone. And what we have is we have the best special ever, exclusive to Lindell TV. And that is we have everybody knows the towel sets, right? That's a 6-piece towel sets. If you go down to the radio podcast, we've got our, right there they are. It's $29.98. We're closing them out. We're closing out the towels. We have our new Shapir long staple, our new design on the right there. Those are on sale too. But what the exclusive for our listeners and anyone watching Roger's show here, you get there. They are. We're closing these towels out. Once they're gone, they're gone. They're only, I believe, there's 3 colors left. 6-piece towel sets. This is what I wanted to do to help out all our great hosts here and. Roger's one of the best. So use the promo code STONE and you get it for $29.98 for a 6-pack set. Otherwise, you call this number 800-858-0402. Use that promo code STONE. My operators are standing by. You're helping My Pillow. You're helping yourself with these great products. And you keep watching Roger's great show here on Lindell TV.
All right, folks, I'm Roger Stone. If you're just tuning in, this is the Stone Zone. Please go to mypillow.com, and when you do, use promo code STONE. Promo code STONE. Take advantage of that amazing special on towels that Mike Lindell himself just told you about. But whether you go to the revolutionary new My Pillow 2.0 or the dog beds or the pet blankets, or the men and women's moccasin slippers. There are many, many great products at mypillow.com. Helps support our programming here, helps support Mike Lindell, helps support Frank Speech Television. So it's a win-win-win. All right, we have just a little bit of time left with our guest. David, how much is it going to cost you to beat Kevin McCarthy, and where can people go to give you money?
Well, you can go right to my website at davidagiglio.com and contribute there. You know, everybody wants to focus on how much money Kevin has. And they say, oh, Kevin's got $20 million. Kevin's got this. That is not really the issue. We need to just raise enough money to make sure that everyone, when they get their ballot, knows who we are and knows what we're about. This is one of the reddest districts. This would be a deep red district in a deep red state. It is the base. It is a MAGA seat. And so we're confident that if we raise enough just to make sure everybody knows who we are on the ballot, we can beat him because he's not a popular guy. He's popular amongst the lobbyists and the people that have money, the elites, but the actual voters who cast the majority of the ballots do not like Kevin, even in his own district. We've polled this plenty of times, this area of California. He's about 19-20% of people that view him favorably, which is embarrassing. They've just never had an alternative option. So, and even if Kevin, I think he's mulling, he came out and said he's going to make a decision after the holidays. Even if he retires, he'll throw in a surrogate that he's going to fund that is going to be Kevin McCarthy 2.0. And quite frankly, this district and this country deserves better, because we need people that are going to go to Washington and fight alongside President Trump when he wins next year and not hold him back and make sure that his entire agenda gets implemented. That was the biggest failure of the Republican Party after the 2016 election, is that too many cowards made up its caucus and they stopped President Trump from doing the things that the American people elected him to do. We can't have that again.
All right, David, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Folks, please go to davidagiglio.com. We put it up on the screen for you. Thank you, and God bless you for entering the Stone Zone.
Thanks for having me. See you soon.
All right, hot off the presses, folks. I just did a very hard-hitting interview with Kimberly Guilfoyle. It just went up online minutes ago. We're going to bring it to you right now.